What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Broom Closet. Tonight, I want to talk to you guys about why you should only date women that you're their type and they are your type. Okay, it has to go both ways. Y'all have to understand something, right? It doesn't matter how much money you make. It don't matter, you know, what your line of work is. It don't matter how much status you have or anything like that. If your woman is not attracted to you on just an instinctual level, yeah, I mean, like that woman, you're gonna have resistance in that relationship in one way or another. Either that woman's gonna be just a flat out gold digger. She ain't gonna respect you. She's gonna be just really just difficult to deal with. You know, and that's where a lot of guys get confused at. You got guys out here that are average looking or below average looking. Even for the guys that are deemed attractive, like it doesn't matter because just because you're an attractive man does not mean that you're what your woman would deem as very attractive. Like your woman, she can find you attractive, but you still may not be her type. You know what I mean? And that's where a lot of guys get confused at. They're like, oh, I'm a good looking guy. For the guys who do fit that profile, I'm a good looking guy. I've talked to other women. I've pulled other women. Why is girl acting like that? It's because like you're not her type. You know what I mean? Like you have to be your woman's type, whatever it is. If your girl, if she likes guys who are tall, then and you're not tall, that's a problem. The saying if your girl likes guys who have muscles and you don't have muscles, that's a problem. Saying if your girl likes guys who have a certain grade of hair and you don't have that grade of hair, that's a problem. And saying if your girl, if she likes a guy who's a little chubby on the thicker side and you're not, and you're not thick like that, you're not a thicker guy, that's a problem. You know, a lot of men think they can go out here and just make money and get status, and then that's it. I reached the top of the mountain. I can have whatever woman I want. She's gonna love me unconditionally. We're gonna start a family. I'm gonna have a great life. Y'all have to understand something, man. Like we're animals by nature. So if money didn't exist, how would a female attract her mate? You know what I mean? Outside of like your external qualities, like well not what I mean by external qualities, I mean like outside of just your ability to fix things, fight, different things like that, which are important. You know what I mean? Like how would she like that initial attraction, like what how would she become attracted to you? She's gonna look at the way you look. Just like even like right now in regular society, like you meet a woman for the first time, she's profiling the way you look, you know? And I don't know. I think some men understand this. I think a lot of men already understand it, but they're just in denial about it because either they feel like they're not attracted themselves or like whatever the case may be. Yeah, I mean, because you got guys out here who are average looking dudes, and like I said, they become successful financially. They get with this super fine ass female. She's like an 8 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, whatever the case may be. And then they think that because they pay for everything, that somehow that's going to buy that woman's loyalty, and it's not. And honestly, in most instances, it almost never does. You got guys who have been with their wives for 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, and they're like, oh, why she divorced me? I've been with her for all these years. I paid all the bills. I did this. I did that. Most of the time, there's a lack of attraction there. There's a lack of physical attraction. You know, like some guys will come out here and they'll try to like make up excuses like, oh, as a man, you dropped the ball, you showed weakness, you did this, you did that. I'm gonna tell you guys something right now. Any man out there that's experienced dealing with women can attest to this. If a woman likes the way you look, and this is just the honest to God truth, if a woman likes the way you look, like she'll bypass certain things that she would expect in other guys. Like she just will. If a woman likes the way you look, maybe you don't have to be so good in bed. And say if a woman likes the way you look, maybe you don't need so much money. And I'm not saying these relationships are gonna last forever. What I am saying is that you'll get a shot like she'll give you an opportunity to be with her. Now, however long that she decides to deal with you, that's up to her. You know, it's on an individual basis, but she will give you a shot. You know what I mean? And where with other guys, she wouldn't. You know, but a lot of guys, like I said, they come out here, they get their lives together, which they should be. As a man, you should have your life together. But that's not gonna keep. That's not gonna. It's not enough to keep your woman interested in you. Like it's just not. That's why a lot of these men who get online talking about, oh, I'm in I'm in a marriage right now. You know, how do they call it? What do they call it? A dead bedroom. You know, I'm in a sexless marriage. Like my wife won't fuck me. And I hate to break this shit to you guys, but there's only two reasons why your wife ain't fucking you. Number one, she ain't physically attracted to you. And number two, she fucking somebody else. That's it, and that's all. Women crave sex and intimacy just as much as men do. Like they do. It's not about, oh, you know, she's trying to use it as a bargaining chip to give me, like, it has nothing to do with none of that shit. What it has to do with is that your woman is not physically attracted to you enough for not for she's not physically attracted to you enough to feel that she's taking a loss by not having sex with you. That's what it boils down to. And that's why I say, like, it's important. This is why it's really, really important to, like, if you're gonna take a woman seriously, and like especially if you consider like marriage and all that, and like, you know, taking it that far with a woman, getting married to her, and you know, legally attaching yourself to this female, like I would highly, highly suggest that you only deal with a woman that is physically attracted to you. Like, period. Yeah, I mean, because you could be, if you're a guy, and let's say that you're a 5 or a 6, and your wife or your girlfriend is like an 8 or a 9 or a 10 or something like that, like she'll be with you, of course, to, you know, to have access to that lifestyle. You know, you putting a roof over her head, she ain't got to go to work. You know, she'll definitely be with you for that reason, but she's always going to be vulnerable to men who are more physically attractive than you are. You know what I mean? And this is why a lot of women are just walking out of their marriages. You know what I'm saying? They're out of there. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like they can do better than you. They've already they want to do better than you. You know what I mean? Because if you've been with a woman for all these years, I mean, think about it from their perspective, right? Like, women know that their looks, their beauty is their currency in the sexual dating market. Like how good they look, how attractive they are. So if a woman gives 5, 10, 15, 20 years to a guy that she knows that she isn't physically attracted to, from her perspective, the way she's gonna view that is that she's shortchanging herself. Because let's be honest, all that, you know, your house, cars, and vacation, like she's gonna become numb to that stuff at some point. And as she gets older, she's gonna say, "Damn, you know what? Like I'm getting older. You know, I'm with this guy. I care about him. I love him. But you know what? Like, man, like I feel like I deserve it. I feel like my looks can, you know, pull a more attractive man, and that's what I want to do. I don't care about all this other stuff anymore. I'm numb to it. You know what I mean? And y'all have to. I mean, I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds cruel, but like you have to really understand that this is how this shit works. You know, this is what I always tell guys. You know, I really recommend that guys, like when you're young, like 18, 19, 20, like if your life isn't on track, like some guys will say just don't date at all while your life is on track, and I could understand that. But I would say don't date, but date a little bit sometimes, like 50-50 even kill. Yeah, I mean, because you have to understand you have to understand where you stand in the sexual dating market. Yeah, I mean, just based off your physical attraction. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, like I'm not a super attractive male, but I do feel like I'm a slightly above average. Like I've had women who, you know, when I didn't have anything going on, and they still dealt, they still dated me, and they still chose me over guys that had more resources, more to offer than me. You know. Now I'm not saying that the relationships were like long term. Well, two or three of them were serious, but the rest of them were just kind of just flings, if you want to call it that. But the point I'm trying to make is just that, like I said, a woman, she'll give you an opportunity to be with her, like she will if she's physically attracted to you. And if you're her type, you're really in the door. Like then it's just you could really like you got something to work with. You know what I mean? So when you're out here dating, date a female that's your type, and she's your type. You know what I mean, it's honestly, it's more important for you to be her type than it is for her to be your type. And that's why they always say things like date the one that likes you, not the one that you like. Because it's true. Like if you're her type and she really, really fucking likes you, like you're gonna get her best behavior, you're gonna get the most cooperation, you're gonna get you know, the most intimacy, like that female is gonna just be her heart is gonna be wide open for you. Like it is. You know what I mean? So yeah. Guys have a great night and see you in the next one.